Hello, everybody, and thank you again for tuning in to another episode of Big Red Worms is Doing Stuff. This time we're at our house, in our yard, in our garden area. We have our home here, our garden here, our rain garden here, and a walk path that comes through to our garden area. And so what we've done maliciously in this particular area right here is not put anything on the ground covering it for quite some time. So the entire structure of the soil's been pretty exposed. Now, when we look at this, we see a large, dry, very cakey crust layer. I mean, water can't penetrate that. It's a rock. Directly below that, you can see our black humus layer, which is the topsoil that's starting to be created from this new construction about 4 years ago. But if you notice, the clay does fall apart. When you squeeze it together, it still wants to clump. So it's not completely gotten into a new state of matter yet. What we do see is we have a lot of roots going fairly deep into the soil. It is still very heavy clay, but we're getting water. It's holding water, but as you can see, it's very dense. Now, Clara's helping. Thank you, Clara. And what we've done over here, just 1, 2, 3 feet over, or 2 feet over, right here, this is prepared. What would be considered like a garden, if you will. This would be like a raised bed kind of area, and we cover it with wood chips every year or two. I hit a rock. There's a rock. There's definitely a rock down there. Wonder if that's from the construction. Oh, there it goes. I got past the rock. So it goes into the ground a lot easier. And then when we pull it up here, we see a completely different looking soil. Now, we still did get to the clay, but the top inches of the soil are completely friable. Squeeze it together, it makes a ball, falls back apart. Now, this is wood chips that have been decaying over the course of the last 3 or 4 years. Now, of course, you're still gonna have clay. This is Nebraska, eastern Nebraska, very heavy clay soil. But we do have animals penetrating our heavy clay soil. They're getting down there fairly deep. We have definitely clay holding moisture, but it's getting more able to fall apart here. Now, this has been a pretty new zone of construction, if you will. The house, when it burned down, was rebuilt. So this was driven over by bobcats and front end loaders. And you can tell this is very deep, dark blue glacial clay, which means it's going to have tons of nutrients. Oh, right there it is. Tons of nutrients. Now, if I leave this on the top of my soil, which is if you tilled your garden and you left this on the top of your soil, what you've done is taken this heavy, hard clay and exposed it to the elements of the surface of the sun and the wind, and then you took all of your aerobic life and put it down into the hole. You inverted the soil. That means this top part will be the crust again. All this will get buried and die because it don't have oxygen, because it's going to be cut off from the oxygen here. So you're digging up your potatoes, carrots, stuff, and you get done, just cover it back up, throw a dandelion on there if you need to. And now to the next spot, we'll come down here, which has been in this same kind of practice, but the practice has been going on for, I would say a couple, 5, 7 more years of extended work. Same bed, same garden, just, 2 clicks south of San Ponderosa. We put it in, get all the way to the hilt of the shovel very easily. And then when we dig this up here, so we can pretty see our soil profile. Shh, 1 second, Clara. We're gonna have to play. And then you can get your soil's profiles malleable. We're looking at about 6 inches here, another 6 inches here. This is getting into that clay layer. And again, hard and clay, but the moisture, you can see the moisture. Now the color of the clay, you can obviously tell it's turning from a gray, that deep clay, to a more brown, black color, the black earth, if you will, that people are all claiming about. But when you get into this hole, you look, I mean, we just one spade shovel, and I've got moisture to my elbow down in a hole in my garden, and all this humic matter, grubs, yep, that's part of life. They do eat stuff. Hopefully you can get rid of them where you're planting. If you need to dig a hole, you can. This does disturb the soil, but this is our walk path. Eventually this will get tilled back in, or moved over, excuse me, into our garden paths. If you have chickens, chickens love these bad boys. Okay, so now that what we demonstrated here is that you can put pretty much amount of wood chips that you want on the top of your soil, and it's not really going to harm it. What we don't do is we don't till these wood chips in. What we do is add, I said do. We do add compost on top of this. When we plant in our rows, we'll add some worm casting extract, the prairie launcher, or worm castings if you're raising worms inside. And behind us here we have our compost pile and some finished garden mix that we're going to be putting in. But